Chapter 4. Blood Money. When they returned to the inn, Niccolo offered to get a second room for Dawn and Leal so they could have beds to sleep in. When she declined, he insisted that Leal and Dawn take his bed, refusing to let the young girl sleep on the floor. Just as they were getting settled in for bed, Niccolo jumped with fright, surprising everyone. He jumped because a rat had climbed up his leg, but he had snatched the vermin and got up before he literally threw it out the window. Everyone was a little unsettled after that. Jacob found himself having difficulty sleeping that night. He tossed and turned in his bed, but when sleep finally took him, it was like the night had passed in an instant. In the morning, he awoke feeling tired but alert. It was like his mind was active from the moment he woke up. He quietly got out of bed and went to the restroom to wash up. The air in the inn felt oddly still that morning, and Jacob couldn't help but feel unnerved. When he returned to the room, he found something unusual. He immediately woke Niccolo as quietly as he could, shaking him by the shoulder. When Niccolo made eye contact with him, Jacob put a finger to his lips to signal for silence and then pointed to the corner of the room. There on the floor, near a small hole in the wall, was the strange box they'd happened upon yesterday, or at least one of similar make. They couldn't determine if it was the same box or not, because it was larger than the one yesterday had been. They questioned it because they couldn't seem to find the previous box when they looked. Odder still, the box had blood running down its front and pooled in front of it, and in the puddle on the floor were 4 golden coins. Niccolo was up to examine them without hesitation. Upon closer inspection, the coins had the symbol of a wolf on one side and nothing on the other. This made Jacob and Niccolo very curious, but they had no idea what it could mean. To top that off, the coins weren't the only thing laying in the pool of blood. There were also 2 chewed-up, gnarled rats that seemed partially digested. Our young warriors couldn't make heads or tails of what they were seeing, but managed to remain mostly silent about it. Niccolo decided to clean up the mess and picked up the box, wiping it down and putting it in its coins on the table. Then he wiped up the blood and threw away the rat tails. When he was done, he examined the coins, but couldn't seem to discern much about them. He made note of the wolf marking on one side, tested its weight and balance, and even bit it to test its authenticity. It looked like he might have bitten a little too hard, pulling the coin from his mouth and holding a hand to his lips as a tear fell down the side of his face. Dawn woke up at the crack of daylight, and she wanted to play right away, seemingly full of energy and excitement to be spending time with her mom. Leal was woken up by her daughter, and although she didn't exactly seem pleased, she didn't seem like she minded that much either. She laid in bed and smiled as she watched her beloved daughter play with her loyal companion. Dawn hopped up on the chair to take the high ground when she spotted the coins laying on the table. She picked one up in each hand and held them high before saying, "Monies!" in a silly, excited voice. Leal tilted her head and got out of bed immediately, calling her daughter over to her. Leal took one of the coins from her and examined it with great scrutiny. "Weird, right?" Niccolo asked. "I've never seen anything like it before." "Where did this come from?" she asked with shock. "Dunno. We found them next to that box from yesterday," Jacob replied. You found it? That's unusual," Leal remarked. "We've actually got more to tell you about, but it would be best done away from virgin ears," Niccolo said carefully. Dawn tilted her head. They quickly headed into the small closet, but their conversation couldn't escape Jacob's keen hearing. "We found those coins in that strange box from yesterday in a pool of blood. I don't know what's going on with them, but something very odd is happening here." "Blood? Was someone attacked?" Leal asked. "No, I don't think so. I know it seems strange, but I think the blood might have been coming from that box. But I just really have no idea," Niccolo explained with the best of his ability. Jacob had wanted to listen further, but Dawn approached him with Cardi at her side. "Mr. Jacob, are these coins bad?" she asked, holding the one still in her hand up to him. "I don't know, but something tells me they might be," Jacob replied. "Oh, why do you think that?" she asked. "Well, because we don't know where they came from or what they're good for," he explained. "What do you mean? They're just monies?" she asked. "Yeah, I guess money is just money to you, huh?" Jacob asked. She tilted her head. "It's okay. I feel like we can figure this out if we all put our heads together. Even if this money is bad, hopefully there's something we can do about it." "Oh, so if these monies are bad, then is someone who has a lot of monies bad?" she asked. "Not always. Why are you asking?" Jacob asked in reply. She smiled, shook her head, and put her hands behind her back as she looked away. "No reason," she said, looking to Cardi. The grey wolf gazed at her with great love in her eyes, and it brought a brighter smile to Dawn's face. Jacob couldn't help but smile too. Niccolo and Leal left the closet and sat down with everyone. "Alright, so we have more new developments. What should we do now?" Leal asked. I think we should take the morning to go and check out that fallen city the legend told about. And then we can come back for a late lunch and some more questioning. That way we're still here when night falls, Niccolo said, looking to the others for their approval. That would probably be for the best, but I kinda wanted to try and find the source of that light, Jacob said. Niccolo put a hand to his chin. Maybe you're right, he said. Maybe, but I'd rather be here protecting the town. There's definitely plenty of odd happenings going on around here, and we don't even know if that light and everything else are connected, we all rebutted. I want to agree, but I've actually been thinking about that, Niccolo said, taking everyone's attention. He reached out and took the golden coin from Leon. Look at the symbol on this coin. It's a wolf. This town is being attacked by its own residents when they unwittingly turn into wolf creatures, and last night they showed up less than 30 seconds after that light went off. If this isn't all connected somehow, I'll eat my shoes. Fine, but how is it connected? Or what are we going to do about it? Leal asked. I'm still not sure yet, but we need to do some field research first, and then hopefully we can find out, Nicholas replied confidently. Alright, I guess that makes sense. Let's all go get some breakfast, and then I'd like to drop Dawn off with Randy. I don't feel safe marching her off to this old ruin, Leal replied. Jacob and Nicola agreed with her sentiment and got themselves together. Then they went downstairs to enjoy a light breakfast of porridge and fresh fruit. When they were done, they stepped outside to find Randy approaching. Leal quickly explained their plans to him and promptly returned Dawn to his custody. They were just starting off toward the ruins when Randy called out to them from behind. Hey, wait! I thought I'd give you this, Leal, Randy said, sounding loving yet bashful. He untied a large sack seemingly full to the brim with coin from his belt and offered it to his ex-wife. Leal eyed him very suspiciously, and her eyes went wide when she felt the weight of the bag's heft in her hands. Money? Oh, so that's why you're doing so well. One of your get-rich-quick schemes finally worked for you, eh? Leal asked, seeming annoyed. What? You seriously think I didn't learn anything after what happened in Thomas? I earned that money, Leal, and I really don't appreciate you saying things like that in front of our daughter, Randy retorted. Then why are you giving it to me? To help you pay for the inn and make sure Dawn stays well-fed? It's not like you have any money, Randy accused. Leal seemed frustrated but didn't argue about it anymore, hanging her head in shame. But then she seemed to get an idea and opened the sack, pulling a golden coin from it. The coin had the symbol of the wolf etched into it, just like those Jacob and Niccolo had found that morning. Where did you get this? Leal asked, raising everyone's suspicions. What do you mean, where did I get it? I just told you I earned it, Randy decried. I've seen the currency merchants in this town use, and it doesn't bear this symbol. So where did you get it? Leal accused, holding the coin up to him. Randy suddenly looked shocked, and he was starting to sweat as he took a step back. What do you mean? That's the currency I get paid in, he said, seeming at a loss for words. Really now? Alright, fine. What's your supervisor's name? Leal asked, making him cringe. I don't have one. I'm the leader of my own unit, Randy explained. Then who pays you? Niccolo asked sharply, seeming to have caught on as well. The royal treasury, Randy replied weakly. Alright, we'll see you later then, Leal said, starting off toward the palace. Niccolo and Jacob waved goodbye to Dawn and followed after her mother. So, why are we going to the palace? I thought we were headed to those ruins, Jacob asked Niccolo. Because I don't trust Randy, and I think he's lying about where he got this money from, Leal said bitterly. Just because it has that wolf symbol? Jacob asked. That, and I can smell it on him. You could smell it too, right, Cardi? Leal asked. The wolf yipped and our master nodded, taking her contribution as affirmation. Jacob, Niccolo, and Leal were shocked when they arrived at the castle but were denied entry. After inquiring about the royal treasury, the group was told many royal officials were away on business and that the treasurer was one of them. Something about this didn't seem to sit right with Leal. Well, if the treasurer isn't here anyway, I guess I should follow my other gut feeling, she said, somewhat solemnly. Jacob and Niccolo weren't exactly sure what she was talking about, but decided to follow her anyway as she led them south of town. It wasn't long before Jacob realized where she was leading them, and he began walking faster to see their objective. He was mortified when they happened across a corpse laying not far off the road. The mostly naked body of a young man was bloated and had its throat ripped out, and they needed to scare scavengers away from the decomposing feast. They took several minutes examining the corpse, but found very little of value. I can't believe this creature was really a young man. Cardi, what have we done? Leal asked. She had disappointment and despair unlike any Jacob had ever seen on her face as Cardi whimpered with sadness. Hey, you were under attack. Besides, it's not like you ever could have known what happened. Come on, let's bring him back to town so he can have a proper burial, Niccolo suggested. Wait a second, I wonder where his clothes are, Jacob said, pointing to the large wolf-like tracks through the mud. His clothes? I don't really think he needs them anymore. Do you? Niccolo asked with a chuckle, trailing off when he realized no one would be laughing at his joke. No, I was wondering if he might have had anything on him that might help us, Jacob suggested. Like what? Niccolo asked. Jacob just shrugged in reply and started following the trail of footprints through the mud. To his great surprise, it didn't take long at all before they found the shredded clothing that the man once wore, complete with a large satchel and a ruined pair of boots. Jacob first checked the pockets, but found only a few drachma and 3 golden coins bearing the wolf insignia they'd seen prior, so he moved on to the satchel. The young man's bag proved far more interesting. It seemed he'd been a courier and was carrying a jar of raspberry jam and several letters, one of which we all gasped at the sight of. She immediately snatched it from Jacob's hands. This is my letter to Dawn that never made it home. So that's why she didn't receive it. I thought I recognized this young man's face, she said, looking like she might be sick. Weird. Didn't you say you mailed that letter a few weeks ago? Jacob asked. Sometimes couriers have lots of places to visit, so they don't usually go straight to a particular recipient unless they're the closest one. Still, this is all extremely troubling, Niccolo said. Yeah, if a courier was transformed, that means it might be happening to people in other towns too, Jacob said, crossing his arms. Well, yes, but also we have no idea how or why these people are transforming. How many is a problem too, but someone well outside of town, seemingly without any connection to any of this? Niccolo remarked, sharing a grim expression with both of them. He shook his head as he continued. This mystery is getting darker and stranger by the second, he said with a sigh.